Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Tuesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I'm your host, Brady Vini. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. We are in for one humdinger of a live stream here tonight. Actually, no, really not much going on. It is going to be a slow next couple of days. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they are right now off during the All-Star break. It is a Paul Skeens day, though, so at least we got that going. The MLB All-Star game coming up here at 8 o'clock tonight. Paul Skeens, the starter for the National League. He will face Aaron Judge, among two others, so we at least have that to look forward to tonight. But other than that, not too much news going on for any of the three teams, so we are going to scrape the bottom of the barrel here, try to get things all together here today. There are a couple of interesting top stories here today. We'll recap what Oneil Cruz did in the Home Run Derby last night. An impressive, jaw-dropping performance for him, and really something to be proud of for us Pittsburgh Pirates fans, though some tend to take him for granted. We'll address that more here later on. Also, could anybody be interested in another blockbuster trade for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make? That could be the case. A highly touted, a very popular NFL wide receiver. Things are not going well with him on his current team. Could the Steelers maybe slide in and trade for him, give him a nice payday as well? We will see. Also, a little bit of Pittsburgh Penguins news as well. An update on the situation between the Mario Lemieux, Ron Burkle, David Morehouse versus FSG, I guess, negotiations for ownership of the Pittsburgh Penguins. That and much more here later on in the stream. First thing is first, if you are new here to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, feel free to like and share this stream and comment in the live chat any thoughts, opinions, questions that you may have. I could pop those up in the live chat at a moment's notice. Hang on here. There we go. Just like this, I could pop those up and we can interact that way. So I would appreciate it for those of you who feel like it. Get any of those thoughts, questions, opinions in there. I can interact with you that way. I enjoy doing so. We are going to start here today talking about what all went down last night. Oneil Cruz, jaws dropping for his performance in the Home Run Derby. Cruz made it to the second round, the first Pirate ever to make it to the second round of the Home Run Derby. Hit 21 home runs, tying Junior Caminero, the third baseman from the Tampa Bay Rays, for most home runs in the first round. That was an absolutely insane performance for him. And then in the second round, he hit just 13 home runs, got bested by the eventual winner of the Home Run Derby, Cal Raleigh, who had 18. But in total, a very proud performance by Oneil Cruz. Nothing to hang his hat on whatsoever. 34 home runs in total for him last night. He, owner of the 5 longest home runs hit in last night's Derby. The measurements right here, his longest, 513 feet, which, by the way, that 513-footer that Cruz hit, it wound up tying Aaron Judge's record for longest home run not hit inside Coors Field. Of course, if you know Coors Field in Denver, Colorado, Mile High, of course, the ball is going to carry longer. So Cruz tying Aaron Judge's longest home run record outside of Coors Field in the StatCast era. His other home runs last night, the lowest of the top 5 that he hit, 487 feet, which is an absolutely insane feat of strength. I want to say right below him there with the 6th longest home run was James Wood. And then after that, he had 2 more as well. So really, he had about 7 of the top 8 longest hit home runs in last night's Derby. Very proud of him there. 10 home runs in total for Cruz that went 470 feet or longer. Cal Raleigh, by the way, the eventual winner here today. People have been a little critical about the format of the Home Run Derby. It was really, confusing. I tried when I was live for it last night to sort of, break down how they were doing things in real time. They each had in the first round 3 minutes on the clock and 40 pitches to swing from. And then you had a bonus round where you had 3 outs, but if you hit one a home run, X number of feet, you got an extra out. Kind of confusing. Wish they would just go back to, either, 10 outs or, 30 pitches, something like that. Just make it a lot easier on all of us. And then also, Cruz hitting that 513-foot bomb, just like Cal Raleigh said on the Pat McAfee show today. Oneil Cruz hit that ball 513 feet, and he didn't even really get a chance to admire it. So I agree with Raleigh there. Also, if you go back to the old format, whether it be 30 pitches or 10 outs, you get to see these guys instead of, being up against the clock. You can see them, pick out their pitches, and you might have seen Oneil Cruz hit like 5 home runs, 500 plus feet last night. So MLB, it was an entertaining home run derby, quite honestly, in large part because of Cruz, even though it was a pretty weak class this year for the derby. But still though, it was an entertaining home run derby last night. Just hope that they would tinker with the format a bit. By the way, just more here on Cruz's performance last night. One of the announcers saying he just put on one of the most awe-inspiring displays in the 39-year history of the home run derby. Cannot agree more with that. Honestly, one quote that I liked, I think I heard it, was that he has the whole Dominican Republic in his hand right now, Oneil Cruz. If you look, I wish they would keep cameras on the in front of the dugouts there where everyone was sitting, because you saw Cruz or Ellie De La Cruz, Fernando Tatis Jr., Vladimir Guerrero Jr., even Junior Caminero, who was still competing in the Derby, and Ronald Acuna Jr., all of them just absolutely starstruck. You should go look up some of the reactions that they had in spare time. It was just awesome to see Cruz get that recognition that he rightfully deserves. Also, by the way, last night, shout out to Steven Morales. He throws the bullpens for the Pittsburgh Pirates, was pretty consistent all night long to give Cruz the best chance to hit balls out. So good job all around by Cruz. And I really wish, just talking about last night, that people would, put aside how they feel about Oneil Cruz and give him his flowers. Tons of people, and there's a handful of them, they didn't want to see Cruz do all that well last night because, this is something that he would dominate at. But when it comes to, being an everyday big leaguer, he has struggled and been inconsistent, which, by the way, I want to point this out here. Shout out Jason Mackey from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette for posting this. Are we really sure that Oneil is worthy of getting this much, crap for, going to the home run derby for the year he had? Just looking at the winner last night, Cal Raleigh, this here from Jason Mackey. Cal Raleigh at age 26 in the MLB. I believe he's 28 or 29 right now. Raleigh played 311 MLB big league games when he was 26. He had a 217 batting average, a 735 OPS, 59 home runs, and 116 extra base hits. Meanwhile, Oneil Cruz, he is still 26 right now. He has played in 329 MLB games, hitting a 240 batting average with a 756 OPS, 56 home runs, and 124 extra base hits. So, obviously, a little bit more of a bigger sample size right there, 329 games to 311. But still, though, bested him by a good bit in the batting average, OPS, had 3 less home runs, but had some more extra base hits. So let's take a chill pill here on Cruz. Let's not be too hard on him. He did an absolutely outstanding job last night, but in praising him for how he did in the home run derby, we don't always, like we do with so much else here with the Pittsburgh Pirates, need to add a negative onto a positive. Cruz, he's going to figure it out. I have hopes for him to do that. After all, he still is, just in the midst of playing his second full major league season due to, getting called up midway through the season one year, getting injured for most of the next. So let's all just be patient here a little bit longer with Cruz here. He's going to figure it out. And lots of people saying, oh, what about him doing this home run derby? The success and the fame's all going to go to his head. By the way, it's also going to mess up his swing. Can we at least have a little bit of, give it a little bit of a chance that this home run derby will give him some confidence and that he can come back out of the break here and go on a tear? I think so. So congratulations once again, Oneil Cruz. Great outing from him last night. And hopefully we get to see him in more of the home run derby later on in his future. I have a feeling he is going to be a mainstay in this now. He was, had the least home runs of anybody in the derby last night. And he goes in there and was an odds-on favorite, and for good reason, put on a show. He's going to be back, and he might win the whole thing before not too long. Moving along here, like I said, it's going to be a bit of a quick stream here tonight. Moving into football here real quick, the Pittsburgh Steelers, not too much news around them, and I'm not complaining here because we could be in like week 3 right now of the Steelers break between the end of mini camp and training camp, and there could have been nothing. We've actually been quite fortunate with Steelers news on here. The Deshaun Elliott signing, Jalen Ramsey, Minka Fitzpatrick, Jonnu Smith trade, Omar Khan signing an extension, everyone off doing their own thing. So we've been all right. Right now, though, for about the past week now, we've been in a dead period and probably going to remain that way before training camp begins here on the 23rd. But I got to say, could Omar Khan have one more big trick up his sleeve, one more big card to lay down on the table here? And if you read the headline there, could anybody be interested in a Pittsburgh Steelers Washington Commanders trade? Omar still needing to find a wide receiver too, and maybe a safety. But the reason why I say this is because if you want to make probably one of the best offenses in the NFL this year, you go out and get this guy. Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin. Apparently he was at a local Washington car dealership doing commercials there. Apparently he has some sort of a commitment or contract with them. And not sure if this was staged or if he got sort of, just, I guess, ambush is the word, by reporters there. Anyways, he is in a big contract negotiation dispute, just like TJ Watt is with the Steelers. He said, I've been pretty frustrated, not going to lie. Everything that has transpired to this point has been pretty frustrating and disappointing. Crazy stuff there from Jordan Schultz, speaking publicly on the contract situation. It's not great. It's not good at all, he said. McLaurin entering into the final year of his deal, looking for a new contract, hasn't decided yet whether he will report to training camp. You have a wide receiver who is very, very upset with his current team, could be wanting out there. Omar Khan, it would be a hell of a needle for him to thread right now, but it would be damn near, I say, franchise altering if the Steelers can't get Terry McLaurin. And Omar Khan, we know he likes to take big swings. He's taken more than a couple so far this offseason. Could he have one more? What it would take to get Terry McLaurin, that's where things hit a bit of a snag in the road right here, because it's going to be probably his most difficult trade that he would have to do yet, quite honestly. The Minka Fitzpatrick, Jalen Ramsey one, I'm sure there were a lot of moving cogs and parts to that to keep tags on. But this one here, this is one that would be a tough one for Omar to pull off, where it would be a clear 100% win for the Steelers. You're looking at, okay, what's the compensation going to be like for Terry McLaurin? You're going to need to part with something big. Maybe if things are worse than what we, currently seem, what we currently are seeing and hearing with TJ Watt. Watt would be a candidate to go back in the trade here for Terry McLaurin. If that's not the case, then you're probably giving up a massive draft pick in next year's draft or even the draft after that, which I think Omar's pretty hesitant on doing right now. Going to be searching for a franchise quarterback in the draft next year. So that's one thing, the compensation, what you're going to give back to the Commanders in the trade. Next thing would be giving him a contract. He's going to ask for a big payday, which the Steelers, they do have a good bit of cap space right now, but how much of that do you really want to use up? You want to put all your eggs in your basket of getting a franchise quarterback next year? You got to wonder if you're going to have space moving forward to sign him. Hopefully, if they do make the trade, they can get him on a reasonable deal. And then also the third thing, how are you going to use him? Is he going to be one of the highly used guys by Arthur Smith, or is he going to, be one of those situations where you have too many cooks in the kitchen? You got already DK Metcalf, Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith now. You bring in McLaurin. Is that going to crowd the wide receiver room too much? So we'll have to wait and see. Just thought that was newsworthy here today. McLaurin saying he is frustrated. Honestly speaking, do not think this is going to happen. If it would be, it would have to almost be, in my opinion, a Terry McLaurin, TJ Watt type swap there, because that is the, two calibers of players that we're talking about right here. And they're both kind of similar situations. Currently frustrated with contract negotiations with their ongoing teams. Steelers could use another wide receiver. The Commanders could use help on defense. That's the only way I see this happen. But in all honesty, I think it's going to, at the end of the day, be these two, McLaurin and Watt, re-signing with their current teams. But we will keep an eye on it. In the meantime, we'll see if anything else comes of it. Also, interesting thing here, I'm just seeing Diana Rossini. I assume she was referring to the McLaurin situation, saying deadlines spur action. I think she's talking about what McLaurin said today, but could it be, possible, signing coming with Watt, Micah Parsons, Trey Hendrickson, something like that. Still lots of boxes to be checked by lots of NFL teams this deep into the offseason. Going to keep things rolling on right here. We do have an update, ladies and gentlemen, moving into hockey right now on the Mario Lemieux, Ron Burkle, and David Morehouse situation of them trying to buy back the Pittsburgh Penguins. This here from Josh Yohe just last night. He gave an update on this story that a month ago was broken by Pierre LeBrun, NHL insider for TSN, said that Lemieux, Burkle, and Morehouse were in contact with Fenway Sports Group, who currently own the Penguins, about a possibly, buying back the team, or at least, buying back a majority stake in the team. Of course, in I think it was 2021, this group sold the Penguins to FSG. Since then, the Penguins, they have taken a downturn on the team, and right now are in the midst of a rebuild. Fenway has also put up a minority stake of the team up for sale. I think that was, a couple of months ago now. I think going back to the later stages of last season. So we will wonder if anything will come of that. But Lemieux, Burkle, and Morehouse, they are confirmed by Yohe and others to be involved, trying to get the Penguins back. And it's even gone as far, this is the update on it, that now this group of Lemieux, Burkle, and Morehouse, they have reportedly notified Gary Bettman, the NHL NHL commissioner, of their intention to pursue purchasing, or I guess repurchasing of the team. So now it is on the commissioner's mind. We've already I think recently saw one NHL. No, I'm thinking of baseball. Baseball has had a couple of teams get sold recently, but also an expansion draft could be coming here in the next couple of years. I want to say Bettman said that the NHL could be expanding to up to 2 seasons. are up to two new teams here in the next couple of years. So could Lemieux, Burkle, and Morehouse maybe say, hey, lots of turnover here. We want to come back and stabilize the Penguins. Also, wouldn't hurt too much to have a, rock steady ownership group back in control of the Penguins with them navigating through this rebuild. Hopefully keep things from, taking a turn from the worst or taking a turn for the worse, financial and business wise. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, my personal opinion, I want Lemieux, Burkle, and Morehouse back. Sure, they had a bit of a rocky end to their ownership tenure. Of course, we all remember Ron Hextall. All that good stuff. All the ugliness that came with the on-ice product then. And didn't really like them selling the team in the time to FSG because FSG, they are, with Lemieux, Burkle, and Morehouse, they are more of like a family-owned, family-run type group when it comes to operating the Penguins. They're very approachable by everyone inside and outside the organization. Meanwhile, FSG, they have their hands stretched out, their arms stretched out wide with a whole bunch of other stuff. Of course, baseball, soccer. So hockey might not be on, the forefront of their minds. So getting guys back in here who are going to take care of the team, and we know that they will take care of the team through this rocky time, at least on the ice. That will be much, much welcomed. By the way, the Penguins here, according to this here from Reuters, currently valued at just under $1.5 billion per Sportico. That was their last year value. Gotta wonder if any of the performances on the ice will maybe bring down that total a little bit. If so, Lemieux, Burkle, and Morehouse, they could get the Penguins back here at a bargain, maybe less than what they initially sold them for. Okay, going to continue here with more Pittsburgh sports news here in a moment. I'm going to keep things nice and short here today after a long stream last night. By the way, I want to thank each and every one of you who tuned in last night for the stream. Appreciate it. Sticking with me throughout the Home Run Derby, watching Oneil Cruz. Taking a quick stroll here through Twitter, see if we have any new news that has broken since I have gone live. Interesting here. This from Frank Saravalli. Still in the market, still in the mix for a top 6 forward are the following teams: the Detroit Red Wings, Toronto Maple Leafs, Calgary Flames, Vancouver Canucks, New York Rangers, New Jersey Devils, Washington Capitals, St. Louis Blues, Seattle Kraken, and LA Kings. So pretty much minus the Seattle Kraken there. Every team with massive playoff aspirations heading into next year. They're looking for a top 6 forward, and this involves the Penguins quite a bit because seems like a lot of teams all want the same thing. And the Penguins, they got 2 top 6 forwards that they're currently dangling out there right now. So the Penguins, they could pretty much name their price, get a whole massive bid up here for Ricard Raquel and Brian Rust. They could have a massive auction, a massive price set on them before they auction them off. I already said this before, but for Ricard Raquel, Brian Rust, right now, I'm at least asking for a first-round pick, and that is just, to get the negotiations started. If you're not coming with a first, because the Penguins, they could use all the first-round picks they can get, especially if they end up selling Raquel and or Russ off to a team, and that team misses playoffs. That's a, extra shot at the lottery in Gavin McKenna for the Penguins. So, Red Wings, Leafs, Flames, Canucks, Rangers, Devils, Capitals, Blues, Kraken, Kings. Just looking at the teams here, I'm trying to think off the top of my head who I would like to think the Red Wings. I know Brian Rust. I think he was a Notre Dame guy, a Michigan guy as well. So the Red Wings, they might be in on Rust here. Vancouver Canucks, their general manager, Patrick Allvin, and also Jim Rutherford up there. The Canucks, they're one of those Pittsburgh West teams. So I bet you they're in on Brian Rust. New York Rangers as well. That is Mike Sullivan. Could he want one of his two top forwards here in Pittsburgh back? That could be, that could happen. Washington Capitals, they've seen Raquel and Rust quite a bit in the division. Just looking here, they feel like the Toronto Maple Leafs, they would be a team, and the LA Kings where they would put most of their emphasis on trying to get Brian Rust, or Ricard Raquel, excuse me. So lots of interesting teams there. Let me retweet this here. There it is. Just reposting that right there from Frank Saravalli. The prices on Ricard Raquel and Brian Rust have just gone up significantly. Okay. All right. Now we are going to continue here, ladies and gentlemen, with some more Pittsburgh sports news here tonight. Let's start back real quick in the baseball world here. Didn't mention this on last night's stream. I forgot to, and it's crazy that I did. Or maybe I did, and I just don't remember. Anyways, yesterday, the Pat McAfee show, they were at the All-Star Game press conference where they announced the starting lineups, and MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred hopped on the Pat McAfee show, and of course, Pat, Plum native, brought up the Pittsburgh Pirates and how the city of Pittsburgh wants to see that team compete once again. And Manfred dropped an interesting quote. I thought I had it right here. Give me 1 second to find it. Anyways, this is in relation to a salary cap and floor being implemented into baseball starting, I think it's the 2026-27 season is when this new CBA agreement will need to be made. Anyway, Manfred here said in the following quote, the fact of the matter is that Pittsburgh is a great sports town. It's a great sports town. There are tons and tons of really passionate Pirates fans who remember when the Pirates were a great, great team year in, year out, and they just want to look at the system of the MLB and say, we got a fair chance to win when you're sitting around in February looking at spring training and what the year is going to be like. And we need to deal with that issue. Very, very telling quote there from Rob Manfred. And I don't think, well, I would like to think that he is not just saying that to, put on a positive face for smaller market teams. I like to think that he's going out there saying that, having a pretty good idea of what the owners of the MLBs are, thinking and where they're leaning when it comes to agreeing to this new CBA. But again, this is the commissioner of the MLB that says the right thing right there, but in the past has had no issue and has actually enjoyed it more on the record when larger market teams, are doing well. And also, he has had issues before because, the San Diego Padres, they're a small market team technically, but they spend a whole bunch. Doesn't seem like he likes the San Diego Padres too much, but again, this is a guy, he loves he loves money. Why wouldn't he? Was on the record last year for the World Series saying baseball is at its best when it's the two best teams. in the finals, referring, people took that comment and ran with it. So maybe he had a change of heart, but honestly, I'm going to take this as lip service until I firmly see a baseball salary cap and floor, just like all the other sports, be implemented. Also, by the way, I think he's also talking to the wrong thing here. Manfred saying a salary cap and, floor needs to come. Agreed, but that's still part of the problem. If he's talking to Pirates fans there, which he was, first and foremost needs to address this owner blatantly not putting money into the team when he clearly has it. So I'm all for the salary cap and floor. Just please, before you do anything else, let Bob Nutting know, hey, what's going on here? Go make him spend a bunch of money or force him to sell the team, because we can ask for a cap and a floor that will help, but ultimately we're going to need our owner to put more into the baseball team than an abysmal $84 million bottom of the league that he currently is. Also, by the way, on that here, I saw this from Bob Nightingale, the MLB Player Association Union Chief, Tony Clark, today said that, talking about the salary cap, this is not about competitive balance. This is institutionalized collusion. So sounds like Mr. Clark there, he isn't too fond of a salary cap being put in to baseball. So reading what he said, listening to what Rob Manfred said, you can pretty much guarantee that we are heading for a lockout for at least half of the baseball season coming up in 2027. Moving on here, one extra thing here on the Pittsburgh Pirates solely. Paul Skeens in the building, seeing videos of him. The All-Star game about to begin here in a couple hours. He will be on the bump for the National League. He and Livy Dunn, the power couple of the MLB, walking the red carpet there. Skeens tonight, like I mentioned earlier, he will at least guaranteed face Gleyber Torres and Riley Green of the Detroit Tigers, as well as Aaron Judge. That is going to be a matchup that everyone is going to be glued to their TVs for. So good luck to Paul Skeens. Hopefully a 1-2-3 breezy inning for him, which I guarantee you that's all he's going to pitch, just one inning, and you'll see him take the rest of the night off to get other pitchers in there. Sort of like a dual story going on here. I believe her name is Michelle Crecchiolo, covering the Pittsburgh Penguins here, coming out with a dual story here on the relationship between Paul Skeens and Sidney Crosby. By far, those two, I think, even above anybody on the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, those two are the faces of Pittsburgh sports, the two most reputable personalities and people in Pittsburgh sports, and didn't know that they had such a good relationship, Skeens and Crosby do. And Paul Skeens, of course, he talked about Crosby in this article, quote, "He's the guy that kind of transcends the sport. It's such a huge honor to be able to have a city know you and for you to be beloved by the city. So being here forever and winning and doing all that, but also just the type of person he is, that wouldn't happen unless you're just an A-plus person. It sets an example for people that are in my position and all our positions to hopefully follow, just because he's such a unique person and the city of Pittsburgh has embraced him that way. So definitely looking up to him now. I'm going to be looking up to him for a while." That gives me probably unwarranted, but it does give me a tiny bit of hope. Paul Skeens speaking of Sidney Crosby that much, and also, pretty much they're saying that he would like to follow in Crosby's footsteps, taking inspiration from him. That at least gives me a little bit of false hope that Skeens will be here for longer than what we expect. But hey, baseball's got a lot of stuff to figure out first and foremost, like what we just talked about. More here on Paul Skeens meeting Sidney Crosby. It was just an unbelievable opportunity. He's a type of guy that transcends sports, like we just said. Crosby also talking about Skeens here. I think the coolest thing is just how much pride he has in being part of Pittsburgh. He's a guy that wants to win. It's like, what is it, Hawkeye, and I think Avengers Endgame. Don't do that. Don't give me hope. Do not give me hope. This story here by Michelle Crecchioli, do not give me hope that Paul Skeens is wanting to follow in the footsteps of Sidney Crosby. I'm just going to get hurt in the end of it. At least right now, us Pirates fans, we can at least, expect that that'll help us eventually cope with Paul Skeens getting sold off to the highest bidder. But don't say nice things about each other and give me hope that he's going to be here for longer than what we expect. Don't do it. Fortunately, I am. Moving along here, ladies and gentlemen. Some extra Pittsburgh Penguins news here today. Dan Muse was on NHL Network today, about 12, 13 minutes on there, speaking with the likes of Mike Rupp, who also does some work with the Pittsburgh Penguins. But Muse was on there today, said lots of good things, talked about, how ironic it is, first and foremost, opening night in the NHL this upcoming season. Penguins, Rangers in New York. Dan Muse gets to coach against his old team in the New York Rangers. Likewise for Mike Sullivan. Said some other things as well. Said that the interview process for his job was very extensive with Kyle Dubas, but felt that they met eye to eye on most things, and that helped him get the job. Said that his coaching style, communication is first and foremost for him. That's going to be key, quite honestly, in him not just developing the next generation of Pittsburgh Penguins, but also keeping this older generation, Crosby, Malkin, Letang, involved, Brian Rust if he stays, keeping them involved, and also gaining input off of them as this team is in its transition phase. Said that it was crazy that he and Penguins forward Rucker McGroarty, young Penguins forward, Rucker McGroarty, said that it's crazy how they are back together after their time together as coach and player with the U.S. National Development Program. But he said he is happy that it happened, and pretty much wrapped up his interview today, speaking highly of his new coaching staff, which we know a little bit about, but honestly not that much. And we don't know how these guys are going to, gel together, coaching an NHL team. All of these guys, they've had various experiences coaching in the NHL, but for the most part, they have been coaches in the AHL. Rich Clune and Mike Stothers were two that he mentioned. I believe Clune, a member of the Predators organization, and Stothers, a member of the Ducks organization. He spoke highly of them and their successes in the NHL, in the AHL, And then as for his most inexperienced coach, did have nice words to say about Nick Bonino. Of course, this being his first coaching gig, period, in hockey following his playing career. And he said that Bonino right now, just about a month or so on the job, is finding his footing in the coaching world very well. So good things to say here for Dan Muse, but now we wait and see how what he is saying, how it will translate to the product on the ice. I think he's in for a tough job, quite honestly. It's not easy being a coach in a rebuild when the team is being designed and is expected to lose. But hey, if he can continue to bring along guys who are already off to promising starts in their professional hockey careers, like Ville Koivunen, Rucker McGroarty, I think you'll see Harrison Brunick at some point this upcoming season. As long as we see improvement consistently from those guys, we'll know wins and losses especially the wins. They won't matter coming up this season. Just let's see progress from the guys who will be taking over for the current top guys for the next, hopefully, decade plus. A couple other things here. Actually, one more thing here on the Penguins before we switch back over to some Steelers talk. Another Penguins, another member of the Penguins organization, I will say, is officially gone. This is probably the most minor of minor departures from the organization that you will hear me talk about on this channel, but I'll say it anyways. Longtime Penguins equipment staffer Paul DeFazio today got hired as the head equipment manager for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm sure that is a promotion for him, leaving the Penguins to go join the Blue Jackets. Congratulations to him. Also, it's pretty cool here. Aaron Portzline, who is a beat writer for The Athletic on the Columbus Blue Jackets, said that when it comes to hiring a new head equipment trainer, DeFazio got a strong recommendation from Sidney Crosby. Crosby called the Blue Jackets themselves to suggest DeFazio. Also, I believe Rick Nash, who's a member of the Blue Jackets organization, that is who Crosby got a hold of to recommend DeFazio for the job. So I think that's pretty cool. Crosby, A+ human being, continues right there, even for, a member of an organization that has a underappreciated, really unknown job of equipment manager. It's cool that Crosby doesn't forget small cogs in a massive operation like that and gets them a good job elsewhere. Back into a little bit of Pittsburgh Steelers news here before we sign off here tonight. Last night, the Home Run Derby, that was, the biggest thing on TV that everyone was watching, but something that was going on in Pittsburgh that we didn't get to talk about too much. Cam Hayward and his charity, the Hayward House, they partnered with the Steelers, also a local minor league baseball team, the Washington Wild Things. They had a celebrity softball game, and it was fun to see. Lots took place here. Looking at the team photos for both teams, wasn't just Pittsburgh Steelers in this game, though it was very Steeler heavy. Looking here at this team here, team defense, Cam Hayward, Alex Highsmith, Jack Sawyer in the back there. He is just a massive, massive human being. Devin McCourty, longtime safety for the New England Patriots, was there. I believe also Mark Light, comedian, was there as well. Looking here on this other team offense, Connor Hayward, Spencer Anderson, two Steelers right there. I believe Rucker McGroarty was on that team. That was cool to see. And a couple other people as well. Christian Kuntz right there. So fun to see there that all of these guys got to get together for a celebrity softball game. It was benefiting, raising money for Cam Hayward's charity, one of his many charities after all, the Hayward House. So love seeing that right there. Glad to see that everyone played and that nobody got hurt, this close to training camp, quite honestly. Some other little bit of Pittsburgh Steelers news today here. Their week one opponent, the New York Jets, within the past 24 hours, they have thrown out money bags left and right. Sauce Gardner, their top corner, one of the best corners in the NFL, and Garrett Wilson, their top wide receiver, each in the past 24 hours inking new 4-year contracts. Gotta wonder here, just two things of this relating to the Steelers. Garrett Wilson, him signing that 4-year, $130 million contract. You got to wonder if that jacked up the price. Why maybe Terry McLaurin today said that he's upset where things are. Got to think he's going to want more than that. Maybe even be up in the top 5 of highest paid NFL wide receivers. Would the Steelers be A, willing to trade for McLaurin, and B, be willing to give him that amount of money. I doubt it. Also, Sauce Gardner, he signed his extension today. Garrett signed his yesterday. Going back here, Portersburg on X brought this up back when Gardner was coming out of the draft a handful of years ago, said that the toughest wide receiver he has ever had to cover, I assume this was referring to college. Probably his answer might have changed now that he's in the NFL. The hardest wide receiver he's ever had to cover, Calvin Austin III, ladies and gentlemen, from your Pittsburgh Steelers. That is a big endorsement from one of the best corners in the draft class for Calvin Austin to get an even bigger role in this year's offense. I think he's going to have a good year that many people are not going to expect. And hopefully he can maybe, I'm not going to put a ceiling on his potential anymore. Maybe he does become that kind of a low-end wide receiver 2 or a wide receiver 2 period that this team needs. Moving from one corner there in Sauce Gardner to another. Speaking of Steelers getting high praise, Micah Parsons, defensive lineman / linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not sure if this was on his podcast. He is a big media personality after all. Not sure if this was on his podcast or not, but he had high praise for another Steeler, and probably one that we kind of have forgotten about here over the past couple of months. Steelers' 7th round pick from this past year's draft, Dante Kent out of Kent State. Apparently him and Parsons were high school teammates here, according to Nick Farabaugh, who covers the Steelers. Parsons saying he was always ferocious, bro. Got a lot to prove, but I think his hunger, his drive, he just loves football. Great stuff to hear there from Micah Parsons, one of the best defenders in the NFL, speaking highly of just a 7th round pick who nobody is expecting to amount to more than a special teamer with the Steelers. Hopefully a 7th round steal there for the black and gold. A couple other things here. Today, 2 teams dropping alternate uniforms. The LA Chargers dropping new yellow and navy blue alternate uniforms. Those look pretty cool. And also one everyone is gushing over, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming back with their white and creamsicle colored jerseys and helmets. Absolutely sick uniforms there. But reason why I'm bringing this up, Steelers here on the 21st, they are coming out with their new alternate jerseys. Are they going to be some of the better looking ones that we've seen teams come out with this offseason, like the Buccaneers, or will they, be underwhelming? We'll have to wait and see. I have an idea of what it's going to be, but I'll have that answer soon enough. A couple other things here. Randy Moss, speaking of podcasts, we just mentioned a couple minutes ago, Micah Parsons. Randy Moss, he too was on a podcast recently, and he said that the Steelers are, in his eyes, a team to look out for this year. Talking about wide receivers who he thinks will have big upcoming years. He mentioned DK Metcalf, but he said because Aaron Rodgers is there, and he talked about, his experiences with injuries in the past, saying that it really takes you a full year, maybe even more, to get over an injury like the one that Rodgers had with his Achilles. So he's saying that because Rodgers has Metcalf and because Metcalf has Rodgers, coupled with the Steelers' defense, the Steelers could have one of the better years of any NFL team coming up in the 2025-26 season. Last 2 things here on the Steelers here this evening. Just 2 congratulations in order. Steelers posting these 2 things here this morning. Congratulations to Isaiah Loudermilk, Steelers defensive lineman. He officially tied the knot. I assume this is over the weekend, so congratulations to him. Hopefully some new powers or some new motivation in his game after tying the knot. He will have a good training camp, try to make the team here for the Steelers. Last thing, happy birthday to one of the all-time greats for the Pittsburgh Steelers, arguably their greatest wide receiver of all time, John Stallworth. his birthday today. So happy birthday to Stallworth. One half of, in my opinion, one of the best wide receiver duos to ever play in the NFL, him and Lynn Swann. So happy birthday, John Stallworth. Let's go to the comment section real quick. THP, welcome back. THP, what up, bro? In the house. I read MLB recap draft at work today, and that guy the Pirates got is pretty damn good. The Seth Hernandez. The Pirates, I will give them credit. I have been very critical of Ben Cherington, just like everybody else, but dare I say, he did an all right job in the draft. I went over it last night. I'm not sure. I don't have all the picks here, but I have most of them, some notes I took. And Seth Hernandez, the pitcher that they took in the first round, I assume that is who you're talking about. That is a pretty good get for the Pirates. I wanted them heading into the draft on Sunday night to take a college player, but he is being talked about as possibly one of the greatest high school pitchers to come out of the draft in quite some time. Said that he's a player with the highest ceiling in the draft, and he's a future top of the rotation pitcher. So when a guy like that, who was projected to go in the top 3, falls down to you at number 6, you got to take him. Currently committed to Vanderbilt. Good fastball, good changeup. Was the Gatorade National High School Player of the Year. Just like a couple of other big league greats, Zach Greinke, Clayton Kershaw. So love it, even if he's not going to be here for, a couple more years. Glad that the Pirates are at least adding to something they're good at here with Seth Hernandez. If he joins the big league someday, hopefully he can be a long-term starter for the Pirates, hoping that the baseball economic system is fixed by then and that Bob Nutting either pays up or sells the team, whichever one of those things comes first. That was a good pick there. Picked up another good pitcher in round 2. Got a good couple of power bats. Murph Gray, third baseman from Fresno State in one of those competitive balance rounds. Another one here, Jared Jones, probably my favorite pick overall of the draft. Big power hitting first baseman with pop. Won a national championship with Paul Skeens at LSU. He was a prospect number 101 on MLB.com in this draft class, and the Pirates picked him up at 263. Also, by the way, you can't go wrong drafting a dude whose nickname is Bear, and he's 6'4", and he goes out there and he just murders baseballs. Love that pick. Gotta wonder, 21 years old from LSU, could he be a guy, maybe you throw into Double A or Triple A, see how get a baseline, see how he's going. Maybe you can see him in the big leagues here, have Jared Jones times 2 in the MLB, maybe sometime next season. Who knows? Going to take one more stroll here through Twitter, see if we have any new news before logging off for the evening. This here, 6 hours ago from Bob Nightingale, I did not see this. Commissioner Rob Manfred said that it's possible to have MLB players play in the 2028 Olympics if it was in conjunction for a long All-Star break. Yet there would have to be major concessions to assure the full 162-game schedule can still be played. That's interesting. I mean, there is a lot to think about there. Would I love to see MLB players play in the Olympics? Absolutely. Seeing Paul Skeens on Team USA for the Olympics, that would be cool as hell. But my thing is that the baseball season is already long enough, 162 games. And you already got a, Olympic-style tournament with the World Baseball Classic that's going to take place next year. So kind of like, where we're at right now, just having the 162-game season and then the World Baseball Classic before, spring training in, February and whatnot. So I don't know. I'm conflicted on that. MLB players getting put into the Olympics. Couple other thing here. This here from Greg Wisniewski, NHL insider. This here on Sidney Crosby. If the Penguins get off to the start that we assume they're going to get off to, I think he moves on before the end of the season. That's my prediction. Dude, that is a terrible, terrible prediction. That's excuse me here. That just downright pisses me off, and it shouldn't, because it's just rage bait. Honestly, everyone and their mother and their grandmother knows that Sidney Crosby isn't going to go anywhere ever. He has won too much here with the Penguins, and he respects his legacy, and he enjoys Pittsburgh. He's not going to go anywhere. So, Greg, all due respect, F off. That is the most moronic take I've ever heard. Going back here to Frank Saravalli saying that a bunch of teams are looking for a top 6 forward, was talking about Brian Rust and Rickard Rakell. Frank Saravalli himself on the Open Ice podcast said that the asking prices for Rust, Rakell, and Erik Karlsson all remain high as the Penguins look to retool. The only thing wrong that was said there is that they aren't retooling, they are rebuilding their Frank. So yeah, I agree. Keep the price high, boys. Oh my god. Just scrolling past a picture here from whatever year this was. Chris Letang and Brad Marchand with dyed blonde hair from them in juniors. Wow. Letang never, changed. And I guess Marchand, he always had the nose. That's good. That's a crazy picture. That's crazy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, looking here, not seeing too much else here tonight. So that's going to be it. Easy stream here this evening. Back to the comment section real quick. I actually watched Seth Hernandez a few months ago on Baseball Erica Scout Edition, but forgot, yeah, he's the real deal, it seems. I hope so. The only thing that I love the pick. Only thing I'm hoping for is that they say he's a top of the rotation pitcher. Let's just hope and pray that he is a top of the rotation pitcher, but that he's a number 2 rotation pitcher instead of a 1. That meaning Paul Skeens is still here by the time I assume Seth Hernandez is going to be maybe thinking about, getting to the big leagues in 3-4 years from now. So like that draft there of Seth Hernandez, just please do not think he is going to be a replacement for Paul Skeens. I know the Pirates are probably thinking that. Just sucks, though, that they can't hang on to anything good for long term. And I say this about Seth Hernandez, who knows if the MLB financial system is going to be fixed by then, to where Hernandez is going to be here for, just as long as Skeens is. Who knows? All right, that's going to do it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Cool story there, THP, seeing Seth Hernandez. Really like that pick. That's going to do it here tonight. Thank you all for joining me. As always, I appreciate it. We are up to, hang on here, let me check the subscriber count, 469 subscribers. So 31 away from 500. Let's see if we can get there in due time. I have a feeling that business here is going to pick up here once the Steelers are back in business. Training camp coming up here next week. So that final time, thank you all for joining me. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Like, share, and comment on this live stream, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow night. Probably going to be a couple more quick live streams here for the week with not much news going on. But hey, anything, no matter how big or small it is, we'll be on here to talk about it. So thank you all for joining me. See you back here tomorrow night around the same time. Have a good rest of your Tuesday night. Peace.